It's time for the College of Ice with Brian Brosdahl and Steve Panaz.
Hey guys, welcome to College of Ice. I got to admit, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We've got a great show put together for you tonight, and I'm really proud to be putting this on together with Brian Brosdahl. You guys know him as the Bro, full-time guide, future Hall of Fame angler, and a longtime friend. So, hey, Bro, come on board.
Woo! Thanks for having me. What an intro. I'm excited about it and looking forward to talking and visiting with people, and it's all about ice.
Hey, I got one beef, though. I'm looking at that logo in the upper right corner. How come you have red and I've got gray? I don't know.
Well, I got a good dye I put in there, you know, when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, it kind of gets on there.
Yeah.
But this is all gray here.
Yeah. Hey, we got some pretty cool stuff coming up. One of the things that excites me about this program is we got a lot of goals over the next 12 weeks. We're going to be airing 7 p.m. Wednesday nights, and once the season starts ramping up, we're going to actually add Sunday nights at 7. So we hope people join us. But some of the goals that we've got for the show is, hey, we're going to talk everything ice fishing, including new products, fishing tips, hot spots, hot locations, and things like that. And we got more.
Well, we're going to be current to ice conditions, what's going on. Special guests like Kevin Van Dam.
Yep.
He knows ice, and he's going to be on the show. Dale Stroschein tonight, Eric Brandwright next week, and company people. That's the most important thing is how does this all work together?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. We're also going to share some fish tales. You know, I look behind you and I see some 16-inch perch, and I know you caught them out in Idaho. And we're going to talk about some fisheries like that. And we're going to share maybe some fun fish tales and maybe some just big fish stories.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing more fun than hearing our stories or your stories. We want to hear it all. And it's all about getting together, and it's all about ice.
Hey, we do encourage our viewers tonight, our listeners, to pop in. There's actually, we do want you involved with the show. In fact, Frabill has actually put together a prize package tonight where you can win $165 worth of ice fishing gear from Frabill. And to do that, what we're looking for is for you to send us a picture of you and an ice walleye. Now, here's a great example of Bro with a big ice walleye. So we're looking for ice with a big plus to have a Frabill Fish Outfitter or Frabill logos, but we're looking for big walleyes. And whoever submits tonight, you have a chance to win this big prize package. And one of the cool things about this prize package is it actually includes the College of Ice mug. Bro, this thing keeps it hot and it keeps it cold. That's pretty cool.
Oh, and it's always full.
Yeah. Hey, let's work into the first topic tonight. You know, I know you're a big fan of inline reels. I tend to lean more toward traditional spinning reels because I'm more familiar with them. But take me through, and I guess our listeners, what are you looking for in an inline reel?
Well, inline reels, I go back 35 years ago on Lake Mille Lacs, and I seen people using fly reels, walleye fishing. And why were they doing that? Because of no spin. And so it was out there. But go fast forward, they weren't really designed for ice, but they worked okay. And Frabill designed a straight line reel, and they brought it to the mainstream, and it's been phenomenal because it doesn't spin your line. Line spin scares fish, especially in pressured environments. If you're on a bite that's going, you don't have to worry about. But line spin does scare fish, and we've proven it, and we've seen it on the AquaViews.
You know, one of the beefs I have, I guess, with the small spinning reels, especially the size 10 or the micros, is they do put that line on that thing, and you actually introduce spin as you're reeling the thing in. And I have actually watched through AquaView and for, you know, just sight fishing, the effect that line spin and lure spin actually has on fish, particularly big bluegills.
Absolutely. Bluegills have binocular vision. They can see particulates in the water. So line to them, that's just this big piece of rope. So if you're out in the open areas, you got to use light line and use a straight line reel. You'll catch more fish. And that's why we designed them with sub-zero lubricant so they never freeze up. And the ergonomic designs and the shape of them fit your hands. You can thumb them. You can hold your hands and fingers on it. It's all about creating no spin, for the finesse situations.
You know, when do you go to spinning reels? I like it when I'm fishing bigger fish like walleyes. I'm just, you know, when you hook a giant fish, I have more comfort because I fish with them 12 months out of the year. But when do you fish an inline reel?
Well, primarily bluegills, walleyes. I'll use them jigging, and walleyes will come through in clear water. We have a lot of clear water now with zebra mussels and other stuff.
Absolutely.
But Great Lakes and small lakes, even Minnetonka, walleyes will swim in. And if you use a finesse jigging style like a shiner on a fireball jig, if you over jig, you create spin. So you just want to move it and just kind of shake it at the fish, and you'll be surprised how they'll strike it. And then when they come up and they put their nose right on it, that's the time you don't want it to start spinning away, because they'll suck it in. And so straight line does work really well for walleyes.
It works really well on perch too. I mean, it seems like perch and bluegills are in particular most sensitive to line spin. And I saw that a lot when I was fishing competitively and things. But hey, in terms of line, we both started off with mono, probably a little Dacron back in the day, especially on tip-ups. And then, Fireline came in. We had the super braids that really made fishing, changed fishing fundamentally in a lot of ways. And then fluorocarbon came out. And I'll never forget the first time I used fluorocarbon. I thought, here's this super invisible line. The fish aren't going to be able to see it in this clear water and ice. And I threw it down, and I thought for sure the fish were going to jump in the hole. And I actually struggled catching fish. And I think we found that, that fluorocarbon has improved over time. It's a lot thinner. It's a lot more flexible. And so you get that invisibility, but you also, appreciate the line attributes itself and being more flexible.
I agree with you. And in the summertime, I use all braid on everything, even my slip bobber rods. But in the wintertime, I like to use fluorocarbons because they have a better sink rate. The abrasive resistance is really awesome. And the great question from a viewer there just now, what depth would you use a straight line reel? Any depth. I've used them in 50 feet of water for giant crappies on photo shoots with micro baits. And it's vitally important. And everybody that didn't have one didn't catch a fish. And I know so many people, you're probably out there listening, that have seen that with me. And so very important to have it. But if you're on a killer bite, you may not need a straight line reel. So there's a time and a place for everything, for sure. But fluorocarbon is my winter line. The sink rate, it's not floaty, and it's just perfect.
That's exactly my point. Is the difference between mono and fluorocarbons. They both stretch, but mono stretches faster and a little bit more than fluorocarbon. And what I like about fluorocarbon is with that sink rate, and especially if you got it down straight in the thinner lines, you're getting that bait down faster, but you've got the sensitivity because that stretch rate is slower. So you've got good hook sets in deeper water. Absolutely. Hey, what is the retrieve ratio on the 371? It's a 22 inches a line per turn, correct?
22 inches a line every turn. It's super fast. So if you're deep water, don't reel too fast. Your fish will explode. But it gets a line up quick, and that's the thing. It's still one of the fastest retrieval rates out there. So it's a bulletproof reel, sub-zero lubricant, ready for cold, and that's the whole thing. It's mostly about making sure you don't seize up, and don't use summertime lube. You can get sub-zero to put on your reels.
So when do you go to another line, or when do you go to actually spinning reels?
Spinning reels, if you got a good bite, or if you're, let's say, you're Lake of the Woods, or you're on the Great Lakes and the fish are just chomping, you don't need to use a straight line reel. And there's times when you're speed fishing and going through and dropping buckshot rattle spoons, or just ripping shads, puppet minnows. You're just ripping through. But if you're out there running and gunning and catching fish, you don't really need them. But if you're on a tough bite, clear water, zebra mussel, pressured lake, time and time again, I mean, everybody's using some kind of straight line reel, and I came up with the name straight line a long time ago, and it's true. And a lot of companies even borrow that name, which is fine, but it's a really cool thing. But if you don't need it, I'm not sure you need it in Red Lake when they're going, but there's a time and a place. But never leave it out of your arsenal.
So are you ever using anything other than fluorocarbon? I mean, do you go to braid, or do you ever fish mono anymore?
Well, I really don't use mono anymore. I've tried it in rigging. Great question, Josh McFadden. Thanks for listening. What Frabill inline rod and reel combo would you be good for all around? I like a 27-inch quick tip with a 371, because a 27-inch quick tip has just the perfect subtle light tip, and you can use it for live bait rigging on a light. Nothing heavy though, but for the most part, 27-inch quick tip is a really good one. Great question. But so right now in the summertime, I use fluorocarbon as all of my tippets, but in the wintertime, I'm using 1 pound test, 2 pound test fluorocarbons, and I gave up on 2 pound tests a long time ago. You just lose jigs, you sneeze,
Yeah.
on, you know, and
Yeah.
now the lines are so strong and so thin. 1 and 2 pound tests are actually fun. And great question, Michelle. Do you like colored line? I don't. I really don't. I like clear, no purple to it. And remember, if you do use colored line, it's nice to see outside in the snow. But just put a little fluorocarbon clear leader at the tippet, you know, that you can tie it on.
I actually differ from you on this. I do like high vis lines. It's easier, probably because of these eyes nowadays. But also, it just seems like it's easier to handle and things. And if I'm worried about any type of issue with water clarity or things, I will switch it over a nice one. I'll switch it over and add a short leader of leader material on that. I do fish a lot of deep water crappie where they're down 45, 50 feet. And I'm still a fan of braid in that situation, but I'm finding that because braid floats more than fluoro, that I'm finding I'm going more and more to fluoro on this. Hey, you live in Max, Minnesota. Hey, Jay, great question. You know what? We've got in a couple shows, we're going to be fishing. We're going to talk about sturgeon fishing through the ice. I've done it personally. Bro, have you done it?
I catch sturgeon all the time fishing Lake of the Woods and Rainy River through the ice, and they're real chore to get up the hole. If you better have a big hole when you're fishing for them. 8-inch hole doesn't always work, especially hooking to a big beast. But talk about fun. A big old gigantic fish through the ice is sturgeon fishing, and it's starting to catch on really big time.
It really is. And that's the only time a 10-inch hole is too small. I mean, I actually like to drill side by side to make them a little bit bigger. Hey, Max, Minnesota, you live in northern Minnesota. We had, even in the cities here last week, we had temperatures down in 16 degrees. We had ice forming on all the ponds, even some of the smaller lakes. I heard from John Peterson today that his lake up in your neck of the woods froze over last night. So they're ready to go, but we're not there yet. In fact, it was 75 degrees today. We lost all the progress we made on ice.
Oh, it was depressing. I drove by Red 2 days ago, and there was ice down there, and it was blown open. But, you know, there was 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and it looked like it was pretty thick chunks out there, but the whole lake was blown open, ice piles on the shore. And all the ice around here this morning, even though all the ice blew open, there was a skim of ice everywhere. I was out on Winnie today, and as I was going out, I was bumping into real thin skims of ice. It wants to freeze bad. The water temperature is there. If we get the cold weather, here it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Alan, great question on that. One of the knots that I actually like when we were doing knot wars is one called the fishing fool knot. And one of the things that I've learned on any knot tying is when you go through the hook eye twice and then tie, I don't care whatever knot you use, the improved clinch or any of them, you're going to see that you're going to find about a 10 to 12% increase in your knot strength, depending on knots. But look up fishing fool knot. It's a great knot for mono, a great knot for fluorocarbon, and a great knot for braid.
Absolutely.
Hey, bro, let's switch gears here. We've got Hall of Fame angler, owner, and full-time guide over on Green Bay and Sturgeon Bay, Dale Stroheim. And hey, Dale, awesome to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Hey, Dale.
Hey, bro. Hey, Steve. How's it going, guys?
Good. Hey, one of the things that we were covering earlier was going the choice between straight line reels and just standard spinning reels. Which one do you prefer?
Well, yeah, guys, I primarily target the whitefish and the walleye, and when I'm doing that, and these whitefish guys run pretty big. I mean, a lot of times you're looking at fish that are going to range from 2 pounds up to maybe 5 or 6 pounds at times. And the walleyes, as you well know, seeing that I caught a world record, back in March of 1995 out here on the Bay of Green Bay, which were known for growing really big walleyes. The spinning reels are really where it's at for me. I've always been kind of under the impression that when you go to the straight line reels, like Bro likes to use and a lot of other anglers, those guys are really targeting more of the crappies and the bluegills and the panfish.
Yeah. So Dale, how big was that fish?
That fish ended up being 13 3/4 pounds. And by the way, which was caught on a Frabill Ultra Ice 28-inch medium action rod back in the day.
What a hog, huh?
So
yeah.
So Dale, one of the questions I wanted to ask you: you target a ton of big walleyes on and Green Bay really is one of the best places in the world to get giant walleyes. Obviously, Lake Erie, when you have fishable ice, is great. Then Lake Winnipeg is dynamite, and some others. But if you had one or two bits of advice for someone wanting to catch a double-digit walleye through the ice, what would your tips maybe be in terms of tackle or technique or location?
Steve, that's a really good question, because the one thing that I've learned over all these years is paying so close attention to details. Steve, I know that you hunt. I've seen you out with your daughter. You take your son out. You guys go deer hunting. I know Bro's out there and he's hitting the woods as well. And whether it's hunting or fishing, whatever you do, it's all about paying attention to details. And what I'm going to share with you tonight is something that I've learned. Now, keep in mind, I've been on the ice out here now for the past almost over 3.5 decades. And the one thing, and during that time, guys, a lot of those days have been spent out there watching and learning, just from being on the ice myself, as well as watching and learning from my customers. And I'm going to share a tip with you tonight that I think is going to kind of, maybe you're going to go, what? Really? But here it is. If you want to come out and catch a double-digit walleye, Steve and Bro, what's the number one mistake you make is when you're pursuing a mature whitetail? You know what that might be?
I leave too quick. I get bored. I'm sorry.
Scent.
I'm going to say probably the wind.
Yeah, scent. Your scent, right?
Yeah,
I mean, a mature whitetail will scent you. And why does that happen? Because these mature whitetails have lived longer than anybody. Steve, when you're out there and you're pursuing that big buck or Bro, if they scent you, those deer go nocturnal. They don't come back to the area. And basically that deer that you've been pursuing, you're never going to see him the rest of the season until maybe next year if you're lucky. And again, it's because that deer has lived so long that he's very aware of his surroundings. So when it comes down to fishing through the ice for these mature walleyes, just like a mature buck, the one thing that I've taken over all these years is that by using a graph for mature walleyes is no different than a mature buck winding you. These fish I've watched, and I know this sounds crazy, and this is something you've probably never heard, but you got to go old school on these big fish. You're going to have to sit on the bucket, take the graph, and put it away. When it comes down to fishing, guys, or hunting, or any sport that we do, it's understanding when to use these tools in order to use them to our advantage. For example, when you play a round of golf, many of times there's a lot of clubs that will never leave that bag because you've got to play that club for that particular shot. And it's the same thing with fishing. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a graph, because graph is essential. It's no different than having all the irons that you do inside your golf bag or all your woods, but you have to know when to play that club. And using a graph for mature walleyes like this, what ends up happening, I've seen this too many times, where a mature walleye will come in, he'll either feel it or hear it. It's an immediate red flag, and they keep swimming and they just leave your bait alone. You got to go old school on them. I'm telling you.
I've seen you do it.
I've watched this and witnessed this, guys, for many, many of years. And that is probably the number one thing, Steve, other than having a little luck on your side, maybe playing the time of day. So if you're going to set up for these walleyes, they'll typically transition. So what I mean by that is if you get out in the morning, you want to be working shallower. As that sun starts coming up over the ice, this is when you want to be in a position where you can start moving deeper so you can transition with those fish, because a walleye is a low light feeding fish. So typically what he's going to do, he's going to be up in the shallows right away when you get there in the morning. And as that sun starts cresting, they're going to slide out to deeper water. The afternoon, it's just the opposite. You want to start out in the deeper water. And as soon as that sun hits the ice and goes below the ice, this is prime time. And that's where you want to be up in the shallower waters where they're going to be aggressively feeding. It's not always about the jig that you're using. It's more about just using that feel and going old school on them. Get rid of the graph. That's my biggest tip for you guys.
When you're talking shallow water, Dale, for the waters you fish, what technically is shallow water and what is deep water for you?
Typically what I'll do, and that's another great question, Steve, typically what I'm going to like to do is set up anywhere between, probably for shallow water, between that 7 to maybe 15 feet of water. And then in the afternoon, or as that morning starts progressing, I want to slide off into that maybe 20 and even 30 feet. Now, keep in mind, at this elevation, what I've learned is once you get about 32 feet, if you hook a fish after that, you got a real good chance that you're going to lose that fish on the way up. So I won't target them typically any deeper than about 30, 31 foot, 32 feet of water.
Hey, Dale, one of the things that's really surprised me about the Green Bay fishery this year is that the whitefish fishery has really exploded there. And I think it moved in kind of on the back end of the perch fishery. Here's a shot of you with a nice Green Bay whitefish on here. I guess I have to admit, I'm kind of surprised how big this fishery has actually become for you. I know a lot of guys are that's their bread and butter on Green Bay throughout the entire winter. What is it about this fish? I know it's a great eating fish. It's great smoked. It's great fresh. And it's got to be, I know I've caught them through the ice. I've caught them up, in the double digits. I mean, they're great fighters, but I'm still surprised it's that popular. Kind of take us through why, how many whitefish are you guys putting through, on the ice every year? And what is it about this fish that makes it so popular?
Well, a number of things, first of all, guys, are this. When it comes to winters here in the Midwest, they get pretty long, even though it's only 2 months.
Okay.
People kind of get, you know it, right? I mean, people get bored. They don't know what to do. And ice fishing is a great outlet. But if you go ice fishing with the family and you don't get bit, boy, it's tough to keep them involved. Putting them on some type of a bite is really essential. You're going to get by with an underwater camera. You're going to get by with all the gadgets, to help them keep wanting to go out maybe with you the next day after you didn't catch something, or the next weekend.
Yeah.
But the great thing I would say, number one, about the whitefish is it doesn't take a lot of equipment to go and do it.
Yeah.
Number one. Mm-hmm. Number two is, which is, I think, is maybe one of the most important aspects of this is a fish, guys, that I don't care what the weather does. It can get warm, it can get cold, it can be snowing, it can be overcast, it can be raining, it can be early ice, it can be midwinter, it can be late ice. And you know what?
They're going to bite.
They always bite. They always bite.
That's
right.
good.
Huh?
That's really good. It's just like perch here. That's what people go for. Visitors come for perch, and the locals fish for walleyes and crappies. But perch are consistent biters.
Hey, Dale.
Exactly, bro.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I want to give away this Frabill prize package tonight. So
awesome.
We've had a lot of people write in and ask us, does it have to be an ice walleye? So Actually, no. If you want to send in one of your favorite ice fishing photos through the comment line at the end of the show, we're talking maybe 35 minutes from now, we're going to give one of you tonight a Frabill prize package worth $165, including, bro,
Yeah.
College of Ice.
There we go.
You can have one of your very own. So, hey, Dale, I know the perch fishery, and bro just mentioned it. It's a very important fishery in a lot of waters, and it was a huge fishery in Green Bay. Where does the perch situation sit right now in terms of Green Bay? Are we on the way back up, or where does it sit right now?
You know, that's a really solid question again. The funny thing about perch, it's like the only fish. You know, there's always this. You know, muskies have this whole separate thing. You know, and the walleyes have this whole separate thing. And you know, the perch guys are like, many of them are just super quiet. You know, they're not like Facebook guys, and you know, so they keep a lot of things under wraps. And I think the perch population is coming back. You know, it's definitely on the rebound. Is it something yet that we can like be going out and targeting as just ice anglers? Absolutely. I still think you're going to have a lot of long days up here on the Bay of Green Bay with really not a lot of activity. And if you do get activity, it's going to be a lot of smaller fish that you're going to throw back, which can be a lot of fun too, because a lot of times it really comes down to, especially if you're taking the kids out, you know, just getting something to stretch on the string. You know, I do a lot of kids clinics. And when I started the kids clinics for open water, I always thought that I was going to have to take them out, you know, and catch them 4 and 5 pound smallmouths and put them on 6, 7, 8 pound walleyes in order to keep them, you know, interested. And now what I found out is I go up to one of these little inlets up here where we got 2 and 3 inch crappies and bluegills and yellow perch that are 4 and 5 and 6 inches long. And they have an absolute ball doing that. They're so overwhelmed and so excited. And when they get like a 10-inch perch, if I've got 4 or 5 kids in the boat, you would just think that somebody just won the Bassmasters Classic or an MLF event, you know? And so it's really, go ahead, Steve.
Well, I know you heard about this fish last year. Kyle Torkowski is a guide up there, and he put a perch on the ice last year that was 17 inches by 16. I mean, this fish had to weigh 3+ pounds, and I know that he released the fish. It was out of season. I mean, he wasn't targeting perch. He was actually targeting walleyes, but to catch a fish that big, and it just shows you what Green Bay and Sturgeon Bay area really has to offer in terms of giant. You got giant smallmouth and giant walleye and the whitefish. And Dale, if someone wants to book a trip with you or stay at your resort, how do they get a hold of you?
It's pretty simple. They can get a hold of us at toll-free number here at the resort, 888-879-5548. Again, that's 888-879-5548. That's our toll-free number, guys. Or they can email us at dale@wackywalleye.com. And again, that's dale@wackywalleye.com. And if if there's anybody coming, Steve and bro, if there's people coming up to Sturgeon Bay, you know, the one thing that I do that's kind of unique is I'm kind of your guide away from home. So if you're coming up to the area and you want to know exact locations, whether it's ice fishing or open water, if you want to know exact techniques, cadences, I will share all of that stuff with you. So don't be afraid. My point is, message me, please, because I am always willing to help. I'm a true believer in paying it forward. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do, guys, Steve and bro, for this giveaway tonight, I'm going to give away a two-person whitefish outing here with us at Sand Bay Beach Resort and Wacky Walleye Guide Service to the winner of this as well, with a free night's worth of lodging.
Bro, I think maybe you should take him up on that. What do you think?
Oh man, that'd be great. There's too much to handle there.
Well,
yeah. So anybody Anybody that's going to be calling in, Steve, or whoever's going to be doing this with their big walleye, who you're going to pick for this prize package, I also want to, like I said, throw in a 2-person whitefish outing with us with a night's lodging here at the Salmon Beach.
Dale, thank you so much. Everybody that's Dale will appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much for being on here. Hey, we're going to bring in Ryan Kleckner in a few minutes, but I just found out from producer Kai, bro.
Yeah,
we're learning how to use this this broadcast system. You can't post photos. We just learned this. Yeah. So if you want to be eligible for the prize package tonight, including the trip with Dale, just send us some comments about where you're from and what you like to fish, and send them through, and we'll pick a winner at the end of the Dale, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much for coming in, and we appreciate your expertise and look forward to getting on the ice with you sometime.
Thank you, Dale.
Bro and Steve, just before I go, thank you guys for what you're doing. I really want to give a big shout out to Frabill for doing this. And I think this is going to be something that's really cool. And who knows where this goes. And, I know you guys, you're committed to this, Steve. What you've done for this industry, and bro, is amazing. And you just continually keep doing better and better all the time. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Dale.
We'll talk to you soon.
That's awesome.
Hey,
all right, bye-bye.
Hey, bro, we're going to bring in Ryan Kleckner. He's the VP in charge of new product development at Frabill, and he's been with the company for a long time. I know you've interacted with him many times over the years. I've interacted, and one of the reasons I wanted Ryan to come on board was to provide a kind of a behind-the-scenes view of how does product development take place in the ice fishing industry, and no one knows that better than Ryan Kleckner. Ryan, can you join us right now?
Hey,
there you are.
Oh, hello, Ryan.
I don't remember that beard the last time I saw you.
Well, you probably didn't remember the gray either, but
I'm liking it.
I wanted to fit in with you guys by throwing a little gray in there. So
yeah, I got one somewhere in there.
That's awesome. Hey, Ryan, you've been with Frabill and Plano Synergy now for many, many years. 18 years, is that correct?
Yep. 18
and you have an engineering background, and you work with a number of really talented people. But take us through the timeline. So if someone's developing a new fish house or a new bucket, and we'll talk about a few things like that, or bait systems or fish houses, what is the process in product development? How do you arrive at the products? How do you develop them? What's the timeline involved in building these products?
Sure. I mean, it's actually a much, much longer process than anybody could imagine. And I know, being a hunter and a fisherman, you have a lot of time where you're idle, either trying to catch a fish or trying to shoot a deer. So hunters and fishers think about products, all the time. Sure. And, it actually takes a long time to go from that concept and that idea to something that you can actually put on the shelf.
So where do your product ideas come from? I know you've got a very robust pro staff. You've got who else is involved?
Yeah, I mean, we have a great team at Frabill and Plano Synergy, a lot of users, so we get a lot of internal ideas. Our customers actually have a lot of ideas. The associates that are at the store level, they'll talk with customers and consumers, and those ideas go all the way up the chain to the buyers, come through our sales team, and then back to the new product group. Our pro staff is fantastic. I mean, one of the best things about being in this industry for 18 years is I've been able to meet some of the most fantastic people, on the planet. And they're just really, really good people, and they want to see the industry succeed, and they want to see people be successful, and they have great ideas, and they talk to consumers, and we filter all of that back to our new product development team.
Yeah. Hey, I know Bro and I have both worked with guys like Tim Makos and Charlie Davis, and we've been part of these pro staff meetings as well. I mean, especially when the new Edge series came out. But talk about some of the products that you've been directly involved with, and really take us through the steps. Maybe start with Edge, which is a really cool tackle system.
Yeah. I truly am lucky. I mean, right now we have one of the best teams that I've worked with in 18 years. Our category manager, Charlie Davis, our engineers, Tim Makos and Chris Leonard, marketing, Chris Russell, That whole group has such a great chemistry, and that's part of the start to this. You specifically mentioned the Plano Edge system. I'm super proud about that. I mean, we put the most amount of consumer research into a product that we have in my 18 years in the industry. We worked with firms, we went to tournaments, we talked to pro staff, store level consumers, and we gathered the information of what they really wanted to see in the ultimate stowaway type tackle box. And that process, that's one of the largest parts of the process. I mean, or the longest part, that part took about 6 months. The actual design of the box, our engineers are talented. And once they knew what we wanted, it was more mechanical in order to get it to that point. And then, mechanical to get the tooling made, to get the part molded, to do the testing, and then finally market it and get it on the store shelves.
Hey, bro, I know you. Well, you got a hat on that says Edge. I know you're a big fan of the Plano Edge series for ice fishing. Talk a little bit about moisture management and just why is that your type?
Well, when you're cruising across the lake, Lake of the Woods, for instance, when you're hitting the snow pulverizes, gets microscopic, gets in everything. So I like seal on the lid, which keeps that pulverized snow out. We've gotten up in the angle and had our houses completely caked where you almost need a hammer to break that snow to get it out. This ain't going to happen with the Edge. Because of the restrictor and the water wick, your stuff is safe, and that's what I love. They didn't miss anything when it comes to saving your tackle, and I'm a big fan of it, as well as the Magnum bait station.
Yeah, the restrictor, it does provide, and one of the things I'm a big fan of is ice fishing in particular, moisture is a problem. And especially going from cold to warm or warm to cold, you get the condensation, and that restrictor really helps in rust prevention. There was another product, Ryan, that won Best of Show at ICAST. In fact, it's won 2 years in a row, which is almost unheard of. And that's the Magnum bait station. And I know your team, and I believe you led up that team that helped develop that. But take us through the Magnum bait station.
Yeah, the Magnum bait station is something we saw a tremendous need in the market. It's as much a summer product as it is a winter product. It works in both situations very, very well. But we were looking to have a cooler that, was super functional, but as well as had a good aesthetic look to it. And I think we accomplished that in this product. The biggest model, the 30 quart, which there was nothing like it in the market, has 2 aerators that are integral to the lid. So a lot of the other containers out there in the market have a aerator that hangs on the side that can get knocked into things.
Yeah.
Bro, in an ice fishing situation, that's an absolute brutal environment. If it is going to get broken, it will get broken ice fishing. So we looked at things like the latches, the handles, where the aerator was located, double walls of injection molded, fully foam filled with a commercial grade insulation. You can see pictures in our catalog. Guys are using it on flats boats in Florida, and they're standing on the thing while they're sight fishing and casting. Guys are in their ice fishing shelters sitting on the thing all day. It's really a fantastic product, and we do it.
Absolutely. And it's low profile bubbler allows you to sit on it. Fishing line catches on it. And I like the center of gravity handle. It's right in the middle of the base, so it doesn't tip over when you lift it up. There's no handle in the lid. It's just designed. It does not tip. And I get a lot of waves when I'm on Leech or Winnie. So that's a really, really great design.
And bro, as a guide, you're going through a ton of live bait, and you can't throw it out. You can't let it go. You can't change the water anymore. So, this is an investment that actually will save you a lot of money for you in particular over a season, but allows you to stay within the law, which is very important.
Well, you can have 2 of them, and you bring water from home, and the one you have at the lake, you pull the net out, dump the water, and put them in the other one. So 2 of them you need to get.
Bro reminded me of a feature that I'm so close to it that I forgot about. But one of the things we pride ourselves on is building ice fishing equipment by ice fishermen, right? And when you talk about the the shape of the cooler, we intentionally built it so it had a low center of gravity. When you look at other coolers on the market, whether they be for food or beverages or even some of the competitive models, they're all narrow, skinny, and tall.
Yeah.
And very easily tippable. If you look at all three of our sizes, we made them nice and stout so that when they're in an ice fishing shelter in the back of your vehicle or in your boat, they're very less likely to tip. So it's subtle things like that, a lot of thought that we put into these products, and it's not just another cooler that we introduced to the market.
And thank Jake for the compliment. He loves the Edge box. Just one cantilever style latch and makes it easier. So thanks for the good words, Jake.
Well, as a teaser for Edge as well, I'm not going to say what, but we have a bunch of fantastic products coming in next year and the year after that. So it's definitely going to have a great life of that product, and there's going to be new stuff coming every year in that line.
So Ryan, what was the background? I'm going to switch gears a little bit and go to ice shelters. What was the background on the side step portion of the ice fishing? You know, when it first came out, it was like, boy, this is so different. But now you can enter and exit a fish house without going over your fish holes. You can see the door here on the photo that allows you to go in and out without having to step it. But the other thing that's really interesting is you look at that front side on the left side of it, and it's a straight wall, which gives you a lot more room than a standard flip over house. Absolutely. How long has that product been out? And, what was the genesis of that, really the development of that product?
Yeah, that's been out probably about 4 or 5 years. It's gone through obviously some evolution to get it where it is today, but that we fundamentally wanted to solve two problems is one, when you're in your fish house and you're all set up on a good spot and you got multiple holes in there, you got multiple guys, multiple locators, you got heaters, you got bait containers, and you have all of that equipment in front of you generally, and you're looking at it. The old traditional houses have that door in the front on a slant, and every time you would go in and out, you'd be stepping in your hole, you'd step in the slush, it would go in your hole, you'd be tipping over your heater, you'd have to relight.
Burning your ice suit.
Yeah, burning your ice suit.
I mean, I can tell the genesis of the age of my ice suits depending on how many times I've burned them on the legs from going by the heater. So
burn your house because you're stepping over everything and you got fabric hanging down. This tightens the fabric up and gives you a phenomenal footprint. And if you're fishing big water and fishing big fish with multiple lines, and of course, with cameras and electronics, you can't beat a house with this kind of footprint. It's a real dynamo.
And by moving the door to the side and solving that problem, we were also able to make, as Steve said, that front door or front wall completely vertical. What that allows you to do is that allows you to set the hook on a fish without your rod tip hitting the fabric and stopping your hook set. And you also have the ability to use longer rods. So, ice fishing rods have evolved. I mean, they used to be, really, really short, right? 18, 24 inches. And like Rose said, his favorite is 27. One of my favorite rods we make is a 32-inch quick tip. I mean, you can catch everything from a 8-inch perch with that to a 6-pound walleye on the same bait, and you never notice the difference. You have the tip and you have the hook set, and now you have the distance in your shelter to be able to use that long rod, to get a good hook set.
That's really cool. Hey, Ryan, and one of the other things I know that you're very proud of is developing value-priced but high-quality rod and reel combos. Tell me, how did that impact the industry when you first launched those?
Yeah, when I started, I mean, ice fishing was just in its, what I would call in its renaissance. It was just starting to get really popular, and people were focusing on the actual market. And I was lucky to meet guys like the Glorvigans from Wired to Fish, and Bro, and guys like Dale. And, I was an outdoorsman, but I didn't really know a lot about ice fishing. And those guys, like I said, are great people. They took me under their wing. I spent a lot of time with them. And, they truly had identified that here's an opportunity for Frabill to really get into this market, this niche market. And, working with them, I mean, I think we were able to put some of the best value price reels out there. The Bro reel today, I mean, the spinning reel, I know you're talking about straight line, but I mean, the extra ones that I have through development, my kids are using those on their open water rods, and they got 8-pound bass, strip and drag off of those things all summer, So it's a fantastic reel, and at a value price that a lot of people can afford. Same with the rods. I mean, Tim Makos, who I've worked with for 17 of the 18 years. I mean, he eats, breathes, sleeps ice fishing, and I mean, he puts so much pride and effort into the rod building. I mean, I have to pull him back. He spends so much time on the phone with Bro and Dale and those guys.
Yeah,
but
he's really into it.
Yeah, you can see in the product, what we're getting through that effort.
Yeah.
Thanks for the shout outs, everybody.
Hey, Ryan, we're going to let you go now, but we sure appreciate the time, and thank you for coming by the College of Ice tonight. You're not a graduate yet, but in 12 weeks, we'll you can stamp your mug. I saw you got one of these, and you could write graduate across the top. But hey, everybody, Fleckner, VP of Product Development with Frabill.
Yeah, I just want to thank you. I don't know how I got on with all these heavy hitters tonight, so it's pretty impressive to allow me on the first night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having
me. Good night, Ryan.
Good night.
Hey, Bro, I when we had Dale on, I was actually going to ask him how he enjoyed the Packer-Viking game this week, but I thought it might be too painful.
That wouldn't have been good. No.
It might have been a little too painful for him. Yeah. Hey, he did mention some of the new products that are out there, and Bro, the Ice Hunter series has come out, and it's both in the spinning and straight line reel. Here's one coming out. These things are MSRP at $49.95. What's interesting about them is they come in different sizes, but they have what they call the quick tip available in the 27-inch models. Can you kind of take us through the quick tip and what you like about them?
What I like about quick tip, it's sensitive for fishing pressured lakes, bluegills, crappies, perch. But I mean, I've caught walleyes over 28 inches on this thing, but it's real sensitive, so you can see light touches. But it has a good action, good backbone. So when you set the hook, I've seen that. Hey,
but I thought he was still on. I figured he was gone, and we could get away with that one. But
but they won one before, so. But anyway, getting back to the 27-inch quick tip is the perfect length for hook sets, whether you're on a bucket or inside a house. You can set the hook with just a flick of the wrist because it's got real good backbone and it bends where it's supposed to. Great action, great length. It's light and it's finessey, and it is the most popular rod no matter where I've traveled, whether I've been in Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Minnesota, all over. Everybody loves that rod because it works for everything.
In a way, the quick tip is it's almost like a spring bobber in a way that it's very flexible at the end, but then you don't have anything hanging off the end of your rod. And I like the fact that with that softer tip, it gives your lures a little less harsh action underwater, which I think at times when you're talking pressured fish can make a big difference. But those are two cool new series. And one of the things I like about the solid fiberglass versus graphite is it's tough. You don't break as many rods. And I mean, I had some of these high-end graphite rods years ago, and you baby them and you baby them, and all of a sudden one day you pull it out and they're toast.
Well, and I'd rather, you can go out and buy an expensive rod and then throw a reel on there. I would rather have you have 2 or 3 combos for the price of your one combo. So you have a lot of different actions and rigs ready than have one rod that's in a shrine that you're afraid to touch. I mean, take these out. They're tough. They last. They're sensitive. And even the 24-inch light is really nice for inside a one-man house or a smaller house. You don't have to worry about hitting the ceiling for sight fishing. Good all-around fishing length, 24 inches. I've fished with rods down to 16 inches, but 24 is a good versatile rod for everything. But the 27 is just, to me, is the best. But I do have a 24 packed and ready to go all the time.
Hey, the other thing is Frabill's come out with a new rod case, the XL, that really is designed. It holds up to 15 combos. It's tough. It's really designed for the hardcore ice fisherman that wants to protect their gear. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Hey, bro, we're running a little bit late on time here. I want to bring in Brad Novak with OmniaFishing.com. Bro, have you heard of Omnia Fishing yet?
Not yet, but I will.
It's an online tackle store that's been around for a couple of years. They're growing. But what is really cool about Omnia Fishing is they actually provide lure and gear specific recommendations for specific bodies of water.
Oh,
you've been on Lake Commandos, so it's similar to what you do on Lake Commandos. You pull up to a body of water and you're looking at things like seasonality and species of fish and water clarity and forage base and all this sort of thing, and you try to develop a pattern that's going to work. Well, the same thing is true if you're looking for tackle and if you're looking at a new body of water. Hey, what's going to work here? And they've got an algorithm that helps build it. But what's cool is they have a series of ambassadors, and they've got fishing reports that help give you up-to-the-minute fishing information. So you make really smart tackle decisions. It's called omniafishing.com. And I'd like to bring in Brad Novak right now. He's the business. Hey, Brad.
Hello.
Business development manager. And this is what the key is on this: specializing in consumer success. That's really
all
cool.
about success.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Hey, welcome to the College of Ice. One of these days when you graduate, we'll get you a mug like this.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, bro, I got a funny story about Brad here. Here's a young man that was working in finance in Chicago. Was it downtown Chicago?
Downtown Chicago.
Chicago. And he was sitting there toiling away, trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. And then he entered a contest. Was it GoPro or who was the
GoPro and Bassmaster?
GoPro and Bassmaster. Yep. And you know what he did? He went down and taped himself catching a bass on it. Was it the Chicago River? And
Chicago River from shore.
Brand new bass boat.
Oh, wow.
That's him with his bass boat right there.
Oh, cool.
So here's a situation. You got a young man working in finance. He gets this fancy bass boat. You're probably deciding, should I pay taxes on it or should I go elsewhere? And he said, you know what? I want to work in the fishing business. So he moved out of Chicago and went up to omniafishing.com. And it's pretty cool. Hey, tell us a little bit more about Omnia. How do these recommendations work in terms of products, specific products?
Yep, of course. And you kind of said it before, is my finance background kind of folded perfectly into what I'm doing here in building out the algorithm and the model. So basically there's two ways that we really recommend products. Again, it's shop by lake. So we work like a Google Maps. If you go to our homepage, omniafishing.com, click on the shop by lake, and it works like Google Maps. You click the pin that's on the lake that you fish or that you want to go fish. And like you mentioned, Steve, we take in things like time of year, structure that's in the lake, the species, the water clarity, the type of lake it is, and all of those things go into recommending specific products, specific sizes of products, tackle,
colors,
as well as colors. Right? If you're fishing in dirty water, you want something that's got brighter, more contrast, whether it be a white or maybe a chartreuse. If you're in clear, you kind of want those more natural colors. So all of that takes into effect on the specific lake page. And the cool thing about it is we recommend techniques. Like if you say we're recommending a Ned rig and we recommend all those products. Well, if you've never heard of a Ned rig or you don't know how to fish one, we have content right there on the lake page that you can watch and learn how to actually use the products that we're recommending.
Very nice.
That's really cool. And you guys have an ambassador program. How does that work?
Yeah, we do. So the second piece of what we're actually really excited about was we launched this year was fishing reports. So people are now going on their specific lakes that they fish, if they fish it a lot, if it's their home lake, or if they just did a weekend trip, and they're filing fishing reports. And it's not location based, it's product based. So I know I am an angler myself. I'm not telling anybody.
I do have some from Bro though, if you want them.
Okay. That's
no. If you go to the next one.
So it's all information based. You know, what type of structure were you keying on, what type of lures, and you can actually include the products that you were using. And so the ambassador program is kind of, if people want to take it a little more serious, ambassadors can file fishing reports and actually earn credit for future tackle purchases if someone purchases from your fishing report. Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool. So if you want to really get more involved in fishing, and this is really a way for you to kind of earn your way into it.
Exactly.
And if you want to do it like yourself, hey, have you enjoyed being in the fishing industry?
Absolutely. 100%, absolutely.
Good for you.
Instead of having fishing videos up on a hidden screen at work, now I got them all up all over the office. It's perfect.
That's awesome. And
Like-
bro, I've been on the water with this guy. He's actually a pretty good stick, so it's kind of cool. Hey, one of the things that I like that is Omni is actually getting into the ice fishing really big time this year, and the cool thing is they're actually offering some special pricing on some Frabill gear today and for the next, a week or two?
Tonight only, actually. I know we're coming on a little later and we'll have some more deals, but these rod deals are tonight only.
Oh, tonight only. Okay.
Tonight only deals. Yes. So they'll be, no one's getting into the office too early tomorrow. So they'll probably be up until like maybe 8 a.m., 9 a.m. tomorrow. But yeah, tonight only. The rods that you were talking about is the Ice Hunter Finesse. So we've got both the inline as well as the regular spinning. Like you mentioned, it was the 24 and 27.
Yeah.
You said retail was $49.99. We're doing those for $34.99, so 30% off.
Wow.
On our site,
That's actually a great price.
Yep, they're ready to go. All you have to do is just head over to omniafishing.com, and on the homepage you'll see the hero image. Click into that, and that'll get you right to the reels. We do carry a bunch of other stuff. That's the deal that we're doing for tonight.
Better
You
get
guys
more
will
of
be
them.
you guys will be carrying shelters and other things going forward.
Yep, we do have shelters. We, Steve, like we talked about, we just got a giant order in. It's kind of weird. It's 70 degrees here, and we just got a giant ice fishing order in today. But we've got the shelters here. We've got tip ups. We got ice safety kits. So we've got a bunch of stuff from Frabill. It's all on the site. More to be added, as well as, like you guys were previously talking, all of the Plano edge boxes we carry as well.
Cool.
Well, Brad, hey, we really appreciate you coming. Bro, do you got any questions about omniafishing.com?
No, that explains it all right there.
I do have one quick thing. If you are looking to buy a hub, you're going to spend $300, $400. We do have a premium membership. It's $30 for a year. You get 10% credit back. So if you're looking to buy a hub,
So it's free.
it pays for it. It's free shipping on no minimums, and then we do premium only deals throughout the year. So definitely check that out if you're looking to make a big purchase.
Do you carry ice augers?
We do. We got
Oh, you
yep.
do?
Yep,
All
we do carry augers as well. For a lot of the big stuff we'll do, you can order online and pick up in store, or some of the hubs will ship. The flip overs, we'll definitely work with you to get them out.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Hey, Brad, thanks so much for being on the College of Ice. We'll see you on the ice here pretty soon, man.
Hopefully.
Yeah. All right, have a great night. Hey,
Thank you.
bro.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, bro,
Yes.
we've got to pick a winner of the Frabill, the Frabill package, that great prize package tonight. I think Kai, our producer in the back, you should put that thing back up.
There we go.
That graphic for the
Package.
for the fish. So
That's gonna be a tough one.
it is going to be tough. We're gonna so Kai, come on board here with us if you can.
Hello.
There it is.
Everybody, this is Kai.
What's going on, everybody?
All the buttons behind the screen and that sort of thing. So
Awesome.
Kai, do you have a list of all the winners? And if so, can you kind of share with me on the chat some names?
Sure. Do you want like one specific winner, or because I saw one story that kind of stuck out more than others to me? Otherwise, do you want me to list a few and then you guys?
Give me a few.
Okay, so let me find the comment. Let's see. I gotta go back. All
While
right.
you're doing this, I
First
just want
one.
to tell everybody: be safe on the ice. Make sure you're safe and carry some ice picks and everything.
Hey, bro, that's a good point. One of the things that I know you've been through the ice, I've been through the ice. It's not fun. I mean, we're not going to have safe ice for a while, so it's really key that you make sure that you have enough safe, clear ice to get out.
4 inches of ice, hard ice, and ice picks, Frabill retractable ice picks, and rope and a throw cushion. Then nothing will happen.
That's cool. Hey,
Right.
Hey guys, it's 8 o'clock. We wanna head out. Kai and everybody, we're gonna pick a winner, but we're gonna do this right after the show is over. We thought we could have comments with imagery that came in, and we found today that StreamYard, the company or the program we're using here, doesn't allow that. So, but we're gonna figure out a way. So every time you tune in and make a comment during the show, you're gonna have a chance to win a Frabill Pies pack, including the mug, going forward. So
Here.
hey, bro, Kai, and everybody that's joined us, thanks so much for being here tonight. We
Thank
look
you
forward to
all.
seeing you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central right here on Facebook.
See you in the College of Ice.
Bye, guys.
See ya.